Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. Our episode today is called simply Do the Thing, and it's exactly what you think it is. Do the thing. Waiting for perfect is just procrastination in disguise. We're all guilty of it. Happens to all of us in different situations in our life. And we know that the only way to get over it is to start taking action. We interview people on our podcast who have gone through tough things in life and have got to a really good spot in life. We always say because of those tough things, not in spite of those tough things, because they learn from those, they grow, they fight their way through, and they take the lessons they learn through that fight and apply it to their future endeavors and get better and improve and build the life that has meaning and purpose to them. Progress only happens when you move. Compete is a verb. It's an action word. You've got to compete if you want to be successful. The act of doing builds clarity, momentum, and confidence. And so if you want to get better at something, the only way to get better at it is to do it, even when you suck at it, especially when you suck at it, especially when you're afraid of it, especially when you're not sure if you can accomplish it. That's the only way to get past it. We're going to give you 5 reasons why it's important. We're going to give you 5 action items. We're going to tell you what it looks like when you're doing this or behaving this way so you can spot it in your life and get rid of it. And we're going to show you what it looks like when you do take action so that you can identify all of those things in your life and build the life that you want. So, with all that said, let's just do the thing and get into it here. First reason here is action creates clarity. It's that simple. Big reason you're feeling anxious or nervous or worried is because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen when you make that call or give the presentation or et cetera, et cetera. The only way to know is to do it. And it's the ambiguity that's eating at you. It's not the rejection that might happen when you take the action. It's the not knowing. Action creates clarity around all that. Harvard Business Review in 2014 found that experiential learning, which is learning by doing, leads to faster skill acquisition than preparation alone. We're not saying don't prepare. We're not saying don't get educated. We're not saying don't put a plan together. None of that's true. But at some point, you got to pull the trigger, right? There's lots of sayings for it. You got to shit or get off the pot, fish or cut bait, whatever it is. At some point, you got to take your shot. That's how it works. So what does it look like when you don't? You endlessly plan a business idea, but never test it. Stay stuck in analysis. We call it analysis paralysis. You've probably heard it before, but I got to read one more book. I got to watch one more video. I got to talk to one more guru. I've got to take one more course. All of those things are good. Watch videos, read books, take courses, talk to mentors. All of those things are good. They're not a substitute for taking action. You've got to take action. Instead of planning and getting stuck in analysis paralysis, why not launch a small pilot? Get feedback. Learn more in 2 weeks doing that than you learn in 2 years of planning. Nike is a great example. So Phil Knight is on a trip for his MBA at Stanford. He goes and sees a shoe company in Japan called Tiger Shoes. They've got these weird waffle soles that he's never seen before. And he ran track. He's like, hey, these would be great in track. So he makes up a company. He talks his way into a meeting, makes up a company on the spot while he's in the meeting with the CEO of the shoe company in Japan. And he orders 10,000 shoes. He takes those 10,000 shoes and starts selling them out of the back of his fucking pickup truck at track meets at the University of Oregon. True story. That's how Nike started. The original business he started was called Blue Ribbon Enterprises. You can look it up. From there, he said, you know what? I could probably make these shoes instead of importing them. He got with his old track coach, Bill Bowerman, and they wrecked 8 waffle irons in Bill Bowerman's kitchen. Bill Bowerman's wife was pissed. She's like, you keep wrecking my fucking waffle irons here. That's how Nike got started. It wasn't from planning. It wasn't from putting together some grandiose scheme. It was from taking action. So you're going to do that this week. You're going to pick one idea that you've been preparing for. I'm researching. I'm preparing. I'm studying. I'll go when I'm ready. And you're going to do a minimum viable version of it this week, whatever it is. If you want to start a business, try selling that product or service to people, even if it doesn't exist right now. See how it's received. See how your pricing is received. See how your pitch works. You're going to learn more from doing that than watching the videos or reading the books or putting together your flow chart or all the other stuff that people convince themselves are actually action steps, but are really just a form of procrastination to avoid doing the thing. Just do the thing. Okay, number 2, momentum builds motivation. It's not the other way around. You don't get motivated and then build momentum. It is actually the momentum that you create that builds your motivation. The Zeigarnik effect shows that people who are more likely to finish tasks once they start them because it starts fueling their motivation, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. The longest journey starts with a single step. There's lots of analogies for it, but it's always true. You have to start, and that will help you build the motivation, right? It's the laws of thermodynamics. A body at rest tends to stay at rest unless it's acted on by an outside force. You are the outside force in your life. You have to take action to create momentum, to create the inertia that will keep you moving. What does it look like when you don't do that? You wait to feel motivated before beginning so you don't start. When is it you're going to feel motivated to start eating right? Well, when's that going to happen? You tell me. When are you going to feel motivated to go to the gym? You tell me. You know what? You're not going to feel motivated all the time. That's why you have to start and build momentum so it becomes habitual and it's something you just, do the thing. Right? You build those habits over time. That's the way it works. You don't get motivated and then build momentum. The momentum increases or creates your motivation. You begin. You feel the energy build. The momentum starts to carry you forward. It becomes easier and easier the more you do it. That's how you learn to walk. That's how you learn to drive. Those of us who are old enough. Remember when you were driving a stick? When you first started, it's like, fuck, I'm never going to get this. I keep stalling the car out. People are honking at me. I'm almost running into shit. What's going on here? And then you figure it out. It's through the repetition and actions that happens. It's not some magic thing. It's by taking action. So this week, you're going to start something you've been avoiding. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. I don't care what it is. Been avoiding the gym? Go to the gym. Walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes. Fuck, walk around the gym for 5 minutes. Doesn't even matter what you do. Just go. Get over the fear of going. I'm going to start eating healthy. Okay, great. How are you going to do that? Try swapping out your lunch for a salad twice a week. Start there and build on that. Doesn't matter what it is. You got to start taking little steps because little steps are going to lead to big results down the road. Momentum builds motivation. It's not the other way around. Okay, number 3, perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. That's all it is. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. It's never going to get done if that's your goal. You've got to just take your shots. You can fix things as you move forward. You can learn, you can iterate, you can adjust, but you're never going to know what to learn or iterate or adjust if you just fucking sit there and think about it. 2016 study in the Journal of Research and Personality linked perfectionism to higher procrastination, to higher stress, and to reduced performance. You're not going to be perfect. I'll break the tension for you. I'll spoil the mystery for you. You're going to fuck it up sometimes. That's how it works. So what? Literally, so what? That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. Can't be afraid of bad results. Bad results are just feedback that show you where you need to improve, show you what to work on. It's that simple. So, an example of this in the real world, you keep tweaking your resume, your website, your proposal, right? But you're not going to go live with it. You never send it. You never put it out in public because it's got to be perfect. Bullshit. It's got to be active. It's got to be out there. You've got to take your shots. Why not launch version 1.0, refine it based on the feedback that you get, and keep improving, keep moving forward. You're going to learn more from the feedback than anything else. You may have one perception of it, and the public could have a completely different perception of it. You might think it sucks, and it might be awesome. You know how many musicians say we made this song and we didn't think anything of it, and it turned out to be a huge hit? Or vice versa. We made the song and we thought it was going to be a huge hit, and it bombed. Like, you don't know until you take your shot. You've got to take your shot. So you can set a 48-hour deadline to publish or submit something you've been overthinking. Just do it. At some point, you got to pull the ripcord and let the parachute out. At some point, you got jump out of the plane. At some point, you got to shoot your shot. It is what it is. You're going to get feedback. Might be feedback you want, might be feedback you don't want, but either way, you can use it to iterate and get better. The only way to do that is to take action. Just do the thing. Okay. Number 4, and this is not a small one, action builds confidence. Plain and simple. Confidence comes from mastery, not imagination. That's out of the psychological science journal in 2018. You can't think your way into confidence. You earn it through repetition, plain and simple. You didn't get good at walking by thinking about walking. You walked. You didn't get good at lifting weights by thinking about lifting weights. You lifted weights. You didn't get good at writing by thinking about writing. You wrote. That's how you got better. You got better by taking action. It builds confidence. Log the repetitions. It's that simple. If you wait until you feel ready, your readiness is not going to come. I'll again break the suspense for you. You're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel like, I got this. I'm totally ready for this. Not ever going to happen. Instead, you're going to gain confidence by doing it, learning from the feedback you get, tweaking, iterating, changing. And as you move through that process, you're going to build confidence and go, hey, I'm a lot better at this than I used to be. In fact, I'm a lot better at this than most people because I've been busting my ass on it. I've been putting in the reps. I'm ready for this. I got it. That's how it works. Action builds confidence. You don't think your way to confidence. You act your way. You actually fail your way to confidence. As crazy as that sounds, that's how it works. So pick one area in your life that you lack confidence in. Doesn't matter what it is. Is it talking to the opposite sex? Start talking to the opposite sex. Is it writing on your blog? Start writing on your blog more. I don't care what it is. You lack confidence in it. You have to do it more. Right? Marcus Aurelius said the obstacle is the way. And what that means is the only way to conquer something is to go at it. Not away from it, not around it, to go at it. The obstacle is the way. You're going to do a small rep today of something you have confidence in. Practice, learn, apply the learnings, and keep doing it over and over again. Put yourself out there. Doesn't matter if you don't get the result that you want. It doesn't matter if you consider it a failure. Keep getting up and trying again. It's that simple. That's how you build confidence. You don't think your way to confidence. You act your way to confidence. And finally, and not insignificantly, inaction leads to regret. Plain and simple. People in their deathbed, when they're asked, they're leaving the earth, they know the end is near. And they're asked, what is it you think back on your life? What would you change? They always talk about things they didn't do. They literally never talk about, I wish I hadn't done this or married that person or took that job or whatever. It's regret of what they wish they had done. I wish I'd have spent more time with the people I cared about. I wish I would have worked less. I wish I would have had the courage to live the life I wanted to live instead of the life other people thought I should live. And I was influenced by those decisions. And that's because there's endless scenarios for things that never happened, and your mind can't comprehend those endless scenarios. So they churn and they churn and they churn. If you take action, there's an outcome. At least you know what the outcome is, and you can deal with that. You can deal with the failure if it's failure. You can deal with the lack of success if that's what it is. What you can't deal with, what your mind can never wrap itself around, is the infinite what-if possibilities of the things you should have tried but didn't. There's a 2018 psychological science study that showed that people regret inaction more than failed attempts. They regret the inaction more than trying and failing. The pain of what if is way heavier and way more difficult to bear than the pain of failure. Every time. Every time. So what does that look like in real life? You never ask the question. You never talk to the girl or the guy that you were sweet on. You don't ever launch the project. You don't ever start the business. You don't ever take the leap. And then you sit around and wonder, what if? What if I had just talked to her in high school? What if I had had the courage to apply for that job? What if I had the courage to move to wherever because I wanted to, and I didn't have the guts to do it, so I didn't do it? What if? The what if is going to kill you. When you act, you might fail. Well, got it? Not a guarantee that things are going to go your way. No guarantees in life. If you're looking for guarantees, you're going to be sorely disappointed. They don't exist. But you will learn, you will grow, and you'll be able to try again with that knowledge that you have. So you're in a better position the next time you try because you did the thing. So write down one opportunity that you've been sitting on. Commit to taking one step, a bold step towards it this week to prevent future regret. If it's talking to a member of the opposite sex, go talk to them. Like, I know people like to text. I know people like to do shit on DMs and blah, blah, blah. Have a backbone, walk up, look them in the eye, and have a conversation with them. You want to be successful? That's what successful people do. You ever notice successful people talk on the phone a lot? They talk to people a lot. They don't communicate a lot via text and email. I'm not saying it's not like you can't do it, but you cannot replace person-to-person, face-to-face communication. It will always exist. It's always the best way to communicate. Always. Always. So you're going to do that this week. You're going to take one thing that you've been thinking about but have not done, and you're going to take a bold step towards it this week. If it's business related, if it's personal related, doesn't matter. You got to take one action on it this week. Challenge yourself to do that and get started. So the key takeaway here is stop waiting, plain and simple. Stop polishing. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for the stars to align. There is no perfect time. Newsflash, no perfect time doesn't exist. The act of doing is what gets you ready. So you've got to start doing. Your next step isn't to think more, to plan more, to research more. It's to do the thing. All right, guys, that's the episode for today. James puts it up over every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available there. Links to our social media accounts are there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to there. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to our podcast, whatever platform you consume it on. It's super helpful for us if you do that. More videos like this coming, more great interviews with people who are going to give you tips and what they've learned from the struggles they've had in their life and how they've applied those to build really great lives and meaningful and purposeful lives for themselves. Super valuable information. We attract super awesome guests on Salty Ginger Talk, and you don't want to miss it. We always have awesome people, and it's going to be awesome stuff that's going to help you. So make sure you catch our next episode. We'll see you there.